Hello, everybody. Welcome to Market Moves. I'm Jason, the Wizard of Ops, and with me is Jay, aka Dark Matter. How you doing, Jay?
Wiz, I'm doing great besides chillax and slouching. So thank you for calling out my posture. Really appreciate it. How was
It's
your
okay, man.
weekend?
Scoliosis is a very common thing, you know. What'd you do for Halloween? What did you go as anything, or were you like
uh,
completely dressed in black and you went as Dark Matter?
yeah, I was just in the night. I just faded in the shadows, right? So that was what I was doing. No, we nothing for me this year. I was
Nothing.
just a dad.
Just a dad. Yeah, I mean, I went like we our family does family themes every year. Shout out to Jill. But this year, the kids wanted to be different food, and so everybody was a different food. My 5-year-old daughter was a cupcake, and we had we had a taco and a hot dog. My wife was a candy corn, and I was the Kool-Aid man. So
That's pretty cool. Did you burst through any walls, I hope?
I did not. I tried, but that's where the bruise came from. Apparently, wearing a costume just doesn't magically make you hit walls. So
You don't have
it's nice though having
superpowers, huh?
it's nice having a costume that you have something to say when people say they like your costume.
That's
So
right.
last week we had a lot of catalysts. Like before we go into this week, last week had a lot of catalysts. It seemed like there was a lot of between the FOMC kind of pivoting on December rate cuts. There was 5 Mag 7 earnings that were mixed, right? There was a couple that were good, a couple that were bad, and I think there was one that was kind of neutral. There was a lot going on last week. Before we look forward, let's look back for a minute and see, what did you see? What did you experience? Because I think, just looking back, I think we were both right because we shot up to where you thought we were going to go and then started melting like I thought I was going to go. So it was kind of,
Yeah.
we disagreed and we were both right. So it was
Yeah. Well, and I think if anyone looked at, from a technical standpoint, looked at the charts, right? We had, basically a doji, a sword-like candle on the week, right? Indecisive buyers and sellers all over the place, right? So we definitely got what we got. We got the upper range there. I think, what was that, close to 69.25-ish, right? Off the top of my head. But we got to the upper side of there. And then we also tested the lower side of it multiple times. The lower side of it being 68.25 and kind of that zone. So, yeah, I think ultimately what's a little bit hard here was like we went into FOMC on Wednesday, right? And as I've been saying, until we get some of the data back from the government, right? You're kind of beholden to very specific vol events, right? And so last week, FOMC was one of the first ones before earnings, right? And I think we did pretty well there, accurately kind of calling a key level in the overnight highs and the lows, of the FOMC as well. So we're pinned right now. We're consolidating, coiling, whatever word you want to use it. I think we will continue to be there. I think we will mean revert on weeks. We'll continue to have weeks like last week, in my opinion. I don't think we're out of that world. But at this point in time, my strategy, at least from an intraday, is you play level to level, and I look for dips to buy. I think even puts, they're hard to come by right now. You're putting extra work to get in your puts at times.
Wait, what do you mean by putting in extra work to get your puts? I mean, I just put the order in.
No, I think even like on a day like Friday for us, again, intraday traders, right?
Oh, okay.
You can, it looks bearish. You get that quick, swift move. You think you got another 10, 15 points there, and you got to by the dip moment, right? And we're back up near the highs of the intraday. So there's a lot of gamma pinning is where I'm kind of concluding with that. And you have to respect that. The dealers are happy where their books are at, quote unquote. So there will be pinning at these gamma levels, especially at the end of the week of these expirations. So that's at least just what I'm kind of seeing from an intraday weekly perspective. But your thoughts?
I mean, overall, I think that one of the things, I mean, we will probably check it out on Volland here in a minute, but our current gamma is negative. And I mean, when you look at all of these Vanna curves that you see here in the middle strip here, that is indicating that customers are buying calls and selling puts, which is the opposite of those typical JEX assumptions. A lot of people were kind of weird, especially Monday and Tuesday. Not only did we go up strongly to 50 or 69.25 or whatever it was, vol was going up at that time. Yeah. And then when we dropped, like even after FOMC, when we dropped, vol was going down. Spot vol correlation is currently positive, at least for the past like week and a half time frame. And the reason why is because dealers are positive Vega. That's not normal for them. They are not normally positive Vega. So right now, because of that, you're going to have a lot of weird spot vol dynamics. And we are currently in negative gamma. And in order to get into positive gamma, we don't need to rally. We need to drop. And so I think that if you're buying dips, I mean, again, gamma is very negative, especially in that 6,900 to 6,950 area. We could whip very hard. We are very negative Vanna, though. So from a swing perspective, I kind of stay short and hedge long. And I had to hedge a lot last week. And then I got vindicated at FOMC. So, but I had to hedge, and this is a very difficult trading environment for the swing traders. For the intraday traders, Volland seemed to be very effective because you started seeing all those little spots, those line in the sand spots and the target spots. And it was just like, and there were a lot of times where we were Bank of America, and, hitting those lines in the sand, and you were able to trade it. But from a swing perspective, it is getting a bit difficult because we are in a negative gamma zone that only gets worse as you advance. All those passive flows from 401ks and, stuff like that, investments, all those positive flows kind of make it very rocky, a lot of whipsaw. But because we're going up, and that's not, a lot of fundamental traders aren't panicking. There's nothing, like usually when we have negative gamma on the downside and positive on the upside, which is you could almost say bull market, bull market environment. People panic on the way down. So you get like, a massive elevator down, like a, elevator in the beginning of the movie Speed, right? Like the blowing up the emergency brakes, right? But here, like nobody panics on the way up. Nobody's like, oh no, I'm making money. That's like, so people just hold it, and they kind of have this sense that they are, the market could come down at any time, that kind of thing. So there's like this trepidation, like I don't want to miss out, but I also don't want, I don't feel very good about where the market is right now. So I do think that from a swing perspective, we do have a downside coming. However, toward the end of the year, there are mechanical flows that are price agnostic, which are like all those kind of JPM like funds where they have a collar or Siegel or whatever they buying puts and selling calls above a long stock position. Those roll out, and there's a delta impact to that, because JPM is not the only one that does that. Even ad damn funds does it. So like, those kind of mechanical flows, I think will cause like a little Santa rally or whatever. But I also think that the option surface has changed. I think that everybody has to recognize going into November, especially, that this could be kind of a congestion to downside kind of feel to it. So
Yeah, and here's like a prime example. I'm just gonna go a little bit technical here for just a moment, if you don't mind, to visualize this. I think this is just a monthly chart here of the ES, right? And I think what you're ultimately seeing, and let me just shrink this down. If we take a look at a lot of our drawdowns, right? There's 20% here back in when we're getting liberated, right? And if you take a look at it from any other month on from there, right? Just even take the close of this month down to here, it's been very shallow drops, right, Wiz? And I think that's sometimes what's hard as like a swing trader, especially if you're trying to go one way, you're not straddling, you're playing the condor or whatever other strategy you're looking at it, is there's just the dips are shallow. So if you don't believe in the data and you get caught up, I call it, in the analysis paralysis, moves, you're just going to miss that move, right? And unfortunately, this is just not a market you can go chase, right? You do have to, as I say, patience with a Y, P-A-Y. You have to be patient, right? And ultimately, those are the folks who are getting rewarded. And I think like that's been the change to my strategy a lot. Was I used to love swings. Don't get me wrong. The Biden market was amazing for swings. Enter, sit out for a few weeks, you'd come back, you're a happy guy, right? This market, not so much that. And if you look at, the monthlies has been tick up, tick up, tick up. We start to look at some of these weeklies, it's not so much that, right? You got that dip, we got liberated. And as we go up, there's some fake outs, moves down and go up. You kind of see, for those in charting patterns and golfing, where we take out both sides of the previous week here in this example, this is a tough market to just predict. And I think that's the one good thing here with Volland. And let's jump into some of that data as we go into here. That's what has helped me, especially as I look at my trading, is week by week, right? I don't care what the market does 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now. I'm kind of curious, what is it looking like for this week? And what are the, opportunities for me to trade within that? So I hope that clarified.
Yeah, I mean, so technicals tend to look back and they look at charts. You kind of see when you look back, oh, that was a bullish engulfing, or oh, that was a 2 of B of 3 of I of W of A of 4, pattern from Elliott wave or whatever. And probably that long list of letters and stuff shows how little I know of Elliott wave.
You did great. You did. I don't know anything either about the Elliott wave. So
I know there's W, X, Y, and Z, and I know there's ABCs and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's all I remember. 3
upper and lowercase. Yes, don't forget.
Yeah.
There's upper and lower cases.
Yeah, Roman numerals. I'm like, what the heck? Are we gonna go acrylic now? Yeah, I mean, I kind of. I know like a little bit, but not enough to. I clearly don't really believe in it. Volland is very forward-looking, right? Volland showing you the flows of a very important and key market participant in market makers, and really, especially in this market, you can't look back, because when you look back and you say, "Oh, this is an engulfing," or "This is a wick," or something like that, and you think, well, what does that tell me going forward? How do I know we're about to engulf? Or, how do I know that we're not going to get invalidated? Technicals show you exactly what you're looking for, right? In real time. So I kind of find like there are people out there that are good technical traders, but I think they're more good trade planners and disciplined trade executors. Not so much, trade, technical analysis has never been statistically proven to give any sort of edge. So
especially when a lot of that data is historical, right? Not
right.
forward thinking. Let's jump in to this week's trade plan. I know a few people, Johannes, good morning. We also have Repo Julian as well.
Yeah.
Hello, how are you doing as well? Good to see you. So let's jump right in, if you don't mind, Wiz. All right. So for this week, I think, just to summarize it, 6840 was a critical level in terms of a pivot, I should say, on the week, right? I start to stay bullish above that. Below that, we've got kind of the support cluster at 6820 still. We talked about that, the lows of the previous 2 weeks, right? I think ultimately you have to play within that range, right? And to the upside, we're kind of battling, 68 and looking at the market here. It's trying to break out right now. I don't know if there's news. So we did just make a new high here, but, we're going to, play around with that resistance cluster at 68.85 to 69.05. And I think ultimately, if you're trading this week, you got to trade between those levels. Fade the extremes of this, so kind of that upper range there, that 6900 to 6885. I would fade that unless you see something on the volatility, some event that clearly tells you, oh my God, we're now going to go higher, break out of 6900, right? And to the downside, prove me until I'm wrong here. I want that lows of last week, which is that 6820 here. Needs to break. We need to close below it. Daily, weekly, the bears need to put pressure if we get into that area. Otherwise, I just kind of see us mean reverting here unless we get some vol shock. Quickly pause. Your thoughts, Wiz?
No, I hear you. It looks like at 9 o'clock, there was an announcement that Amazon inks a $38 billion deal with OpenAI to supply NVIDIA chips.
So
why doesn't NVIDIA supply OpenAI with NVIDIA chips? Okay, never mind. I don't even, sometimes.
It's a loop-de-loop.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
It's something. It's definitely something. So I guess that's where that pop came from.
Got it.
Looks like it's
Thank
coming
you for
back
that.
down to earth too. So,
Yep.
Anyway, yeah. So I agree. I think that. I mean, I don't know about the control level. That seems to be like a volume profile thing. But yeah, I think that you're gonna have to widen your ranges. We are in negative gamma, and yeah. So I think it's going to be pretty tough it's still going to be a difficult trading environment. I do think kind of, catalysts are going to be short. And I also, here's my hot take. You ready for this one?
Yeah.
I think government reopening is a bearish event. And the reason why.
Your thesis. Yeah.
Well, it's not my thesis, but I think it's going to be a bearish event. And if you click on event catalysts real quick, all of that, right? None of that is government data. And and even that November Friday non-farm, probably not happening, right? So there's no impact releases pretty much anywhere. Like, yeah, the JOLTS will probably have a little bit more weight because of the lack of government data. But I think that when the government reopens and now there's data releases, that increases vol up and down the curve because of all the new data releases. Now you're going to have a little bit of event vol, and it's going to be not just event vol for this month, but it's going to be all the months we missed or all the weeks we missed is going to be incorporated in there too. So we're going to have maybe a kind of a down shock when the government opens because of vol increasing. I don't know if it's probably not going to happen this week. Unfortunately, I have too many friends that are getting spiked here, and many of them are contractors, so they're not going to get that back pay. But yeah, what are your thoughts?
No, I mean, I when I was looking at kind of the what it would be a typical economic calendar, right? I was like, wow, this week would have been really volatile if we had, because a lot of it is jobs data, right? And I think that is a focus right now, as the Fed said last week, right, at FOMC as well. You also heard, Bassett yesterday, talking about the housing market being in a recession, right? So there's definitely a lot of negative catalysts, and that's what intrigues me that the market keeps holding up, right? And I think I would agree with you that it would be at least a bearish sell the news like event, right, for the government to come out of a shutdown and if anything, you start to expose a lot of this data that is not being reported on at this point in time. So I'm with you. It does suck for our government workers. Hope, not hope. I just wish our, government would function. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, get your bosses back to work. I think that the air traffic controllers. I mean, I worked at the FAA for a long time, and I knew in all prior shutouts, air traffic controllers are forced to work without pay, and they don't work. Like they call out slick, or they call, they do what they got to do, and they just don't show up.
Which is sad, right?
Well, it's sad, but I mean, if you're not getting paid, I don't blame them.
No,
and it's a stressful
that's the
job
thing.
too, Oh, I got to go to work and not get paid today. That's rough. But anyway, go ahead.
No, it's sad that that's what it comes to, right? That our government uses that as weapons. So let's go on. We could become a different kind of show here if we continue at that pace. So to your point, volatility is here still this week. We've the option makers are expecting about 106 points on a week. So that kind of puts us in terms of a range that's 67.35 and 69.45 to the upside. So a little bit similar in terms of where we're looking at last week here. I'll kind of skip out on a couple of items here, but let's just hop into, look at some of the Volland. Here were some of my kind of key dealer levels that I was looking at for on the week. 67.60, 68.20, 68.60, and, kind of 6900. These were at least my bigger levels out of the Greeks, gamma delta, Vanna delta, charm, Vanna negative gamma. So let me hop over into the charts. Let's maybe start on the weekly here, Wiz, and I'll let you kind of kick in and give some of your thoughts here.
Yeah, I mean, this is from a Vanna standpoint, it is net negative Vanna. However, for this week, though, it appears that there are, I think, are those sold calls or are those bought puts? Bro, this doesn't matter necessarily, but we do have a little bit support below, and I think those are bought puts from a dealer standpoint, or from a customer standpoint. I think they finally bought some puts underneath us when we they're there. So I guess it's sold calls all the way down just a little bit, but anyway, it is calls. Thank you, Johannes. It's kind of a like I said, this is the opposite of the typical JEX assumptions. That's kind of the environment we're in right now. So you can almost expect like maybe one acute drop with all those calls below. I think you can expect just like one, and it may not even be, another 2.75% that we got a couple weeks ago. It could just be, 1.3, get us down past 6,800. And once you're there, it could be a slow roll to the downside. Maybe never a vol event, right? I think a vol event would honestly be a good sign because that means somebody's buying puts. But yeah, I think those in the money calls, that could end up being a strong push, to the downside as they have like a little bit of a gamma unwind. But as you can see also above us there, it's still negative gamma. We could still pop. So you have to constantly hedge to the upside. And like I said, it's going to be a very difficult trading environment from a swing standpoint over the next, week or two. I was just happy last month we ended up positive because of those last few weeks were difficult. You either have to extend your timeline to like 2 months, or you have to constantly hedge on the short term. So those are my thoughts on Vanna. It's basically the same throughout. I think the farther out you go, the more negative Vanna you have. So I think that's the environment right now.
Yeah, and for those, let me just kind of highlight that. So kind of take the two tail ends here, subtract those. So clearly you can see we're on the negative side of the axis here. So I think that was roughly, if I do my math there, you had 14. It's about negative 20-ish billion dollars in kind of negative Vanna here. So
The
this
last time we
is
saw
right.
this was 2022.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was just going to say. I've been saying for a while now that this is like the 21 market, right? Shallow dips, major rips, and it does that for a while until at some point it goes, lights out. So I'm with you. I don't know. I kind of forgot that my Twitter feed, this or X feed, post, whatever they're called nowadays, the Hindenburg indicator had popped off. I guess that was the weekend Fintuit discussion. I'm not a Hindenburg indicator expert by any means, but the TLDR there, Wiz, is that it's an indicator that matches certain breadths of the market, RSIs, et cetera, et cetera. And it has flashed. And that's supposedly why Burry has made his comeback and tweeted or posted last week. So, we'll see where this goes. It's going to be volatile, that's for sure.
I've heard of the Hindenburg indicator. I don't know who came back and tweeted. Murray?
Burry, Michael J. Burry.
Okay. Good for him. I don't know who that is. Sorry to Michael J. Bird fans. I honestly, I don't know who he is. Did he make the Hindenburg indicator or?
No, so Michael J. Barry, sorry. So from
Barry. I know who Barry.
Yes,
I know Michael
Barry.
Barry is. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you said Michael Bird, and I'm like,
No, so the Hindenburg hold on, I'm looking up again.
yeah.
I don't follow these things. Should show you. Good luck if you do.
The only indicator you really need to flash is your over VIX, under VIX indicator. That's I get we do a lot with VIXing, so
so it's basically the Hindenburg omen. That's the indicator. It's essentially it's an omen. Even it measures how many stocks are simultaneously hitting new highs and new lows, a sign of market indecision and instability. It's like a Hollywood movie, my friend.
Aegis period meteor indicator, like, and it's going to be bullish. All the dinosaurs die and humans come about. So I like your trade plan here from an intraday standpoint. The one thing I would say is 6,900 big negative gamma, that dominant Greek negative gamma. That is the big one there for 6,900. And when you say instability, to me that means get out, like get out until you run into a good spot, or buy a straddle or buy a strangle. Like that's, if we do get up to 6,900 SPX, buy a strangle or a straddle, and you'll probably profit at least on one of those sides. So
yeah, I mean, for me, I was kind of, if you kind of take a look, even zoom in on the weekly here, as you just enter above 80, and you can clearly see it here. If I even go to the charts, right, just to show you this, even you've got a lot of selling activity. Now you have a lot of buying activity, no doubt, here at the lows. This is about 68.20 here, just for reference from an SPX level. And if you can see here overnight, I mean, we've made a new high, and we had some news, that Amazon news, you share it there, but you're just finding sellers. Or if you look at these wicks, and this is a 4-hour chart, right? So if you even go to higher, lower time frames, same story here. So don't fight the data. The data is there to protect you. uh, wait patiently for the best R&R, and I think that's just fading the extremes once again this week, especially if you're intraday or weekly like trader. You want to be trading those ranges, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right. Do you have anything else? I do have some announcements to make here toward the end of our show. So
No, I think
before I do that,
we're good.
is there any earnings this week?
There's a few tickers there. If I let me
Yeah, we
quickly
didn't do
just
the
look at
earnings, and
it.
then I have some announcements.
Yeah, I mean, so really quickly from an earnings standpoint, AMD is the big one. Today after the close, PLTR is reporting some consumer brands, Spotify, McDonald's will be reporting. Meme stock AMC will also be reporting. I mean, it's funny that it's all the way down here, but I do like to see how Airbnb is just from a consumer standpoint, if people are still out spending money or not. So that's in Snap. That's it.
What about all the hood rats?
Yeah, Robinhood is it's a darling, right? The
The hood
you know
rats.
that the hood rats,
Yeah, maybe.
cryptos.
Yeah, there's nothing that really pops to me to do a newsletter. Maybe I'll do one for like AMD or something. But yeah, it looks like a good way to survey the market. But I think what Mag 7 is 38% of SPX, so I don't think any of these will move SPX very much.
Yeah, I think Nvidia's your last one coming up to just a couple more weeks. So yeah, I'm with you.
Oh, PLTR, maybe. Okay. All right. Well, really quick, I'll just go to Johannes's comment here. Oh, what is your guys' opinion that the fact that almost all S&P stocks have similar positioning? Honestly, I think it's people trying to find a good price on dispersion. If you saw, actually, the dispersion index was which is the implied volatility of all of the individual S&P stocks are way higher than the implied volatility of the index. I always kind of take that as like an earnings thing, but still it's pretty significant. So I think there might be a dispersion thing, and people trying to get the most, because right now, if you're selling puts, you want the most implied volatility possible. So you're going down into those individual stocks as well. That's my take, but I don't know if you have any other ideas on that, Jay, DM.
I mean, I think I'm also just I don't know if there's just a swap in hedging here, right? If there's just a lot more hedging going on in the options market than there was previously because of the unknown and uncertainty. So I think that would be the only ingredient I would add to your analysis.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So a couple of announcements before we go today. This week we are releasing our Volland 2 tiers. Okay. So before we were kind of in a soft launch time frame, where you could get in on the lowest price. We give very frequent updates, 2-minute updates, and all you're getting are exposure charts. In the background, we have been working on getting all the other widgets up. We will be doing that this week and reintroducing all the tiers.
Nice.
Come to our Volland Discord to get all the details on it. Just saying them, I don't think it does them justice very much. But yeah, go to the Discord. You'll get our tiers now are not going to be based on timing. We have a lot greater technical capabilities than we did before in Volland 1. So now with Volland 2, we can give 2 minutes and it's not that much of a technical strain on us. So the differences are basically what widgets are you going to need, what widgets are going to use, and we base those tiers on, or we base the tiers on the type of trader you are. So it kind of gives you all the widgets you need that that helps you trade. And if you're a swing option trader, or if you're a 0 DTE trader, you have different types of widgets. We will also be releasing the new widgets called Vol Hacks. Vol Hacks are trying in a way to boil down all of the Volland data into simple to read widgets. So basically, is it bullish or bearish? Is it more volatile or less volatile? Are we over VIXed or under VIXed? You know, what is the impact? And it shows a current view of those in a nice like little graphic. And you can, you know, it's a great introduction into Volland data without needing like all the education. It's kind of, you know, your entryway. You know, I call it the entry drug. Is going to be our Vol Hacks. On November 12th, due to popular demand, it's going to be kind of like our grand opening. We're going to have an all-day live stream, right? We're going to break it up into little segments because I need a break. But eventually, occasionally, I need a break. So they will be broken into segments. But we are going to have kind of a bunch of really great guests. One of them might be here. What is this here? Maybe.
Me,
but,
me, if you didn't catch on that.
But yeah, we're going to have a bunch of different subjects, and our guests are great. They're all friends of Volland, and they understand what we do here and recognize the quality of data. Quality of data matters, and we have the best quality data. So stay tuned, November 12th. Now you could tune in. It'll be as if it was like an all-day Jay Powell thing. Turn off your music, turn on the Volland live show. So, but because of that, I don't know if we're going to have him. I mean, I guess we could have a Monday show next week as well. We have become a part of a lot of people's routines for the week. So it's people notice when we're not on. So maybe we'll.
No, we got to keep the Monday. You'll ruin my routine as well here, Wiz. Come on now.
All right, so we'll keep the Monday, but yeah, that's where we'll release the guests and the times and all that stuff over the coming weeks. So it's a very exciting time, and yeah, we'll definitely see you guys then. Jay, do you have anything else?
No, I just want to say congratulations to you and Volland and getting kind of the new version out. The 2-minute updates for those of you who have not had that experience. It is, especially in a high fall event like FOMC last week. The platform's amazing. You trade overnight. The new SPX, options coming in overnight. The data is just remarkable, right? Mm-hmm. So great stuff, Wiz and team. So just want to give you guys kudos and shout out to another successful launch here as well.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, we've had some rough times over the past couple months, but I think it's kind of like, pruning a bush. You cut the dead branches, and sometimes the dead branches fall off by themselves. And even though the bush doesn't look as full and great in that moment, I think right now we're kind of blossoming and growing out into the sidewalk. William, I flashed your comment. Let's get to that because that's a long conversation and we're kind of over on the show. So ask that again next week and we will get around to that. Thank you very much, everybody. And may Volland help you in your future trading ventures.